The mainstream media is now warning us that it's time to get ready for food rationing. Of course, they're blaming Putin for the food crisis, but you and I know better. I find it interesting that they're even using the same verb, brace, that I used early last year when I warned you we were about to face this triple threat of inflation, supply chains collapsing, and food shortages. Well,
good morning, Patriots. JT here, Serenity Farms, prepping with more food famine, shortage, rationing information. I call it information. I could call it fear mongering. I'm trying to scare you people legitimately into getting and growing food. I just don't know what else to tell you to convince you about the massive intentional food shortages coming. Okay, Hungary, the country of Hungary, has stopped exporting anything. All other countries will follow shortly. Every country except the U.S. are taking steps to help offset the coming food shortages and starvation that their countries are going to face. What they're trying to stave off is the massive food riots, burning, looting, assault, everything that's going to happen because of the massive food shortages that were all intentionally caused as part of the Great Pandemic. Not only is the U.S. not doing anything to help its United States citizens, Pedo Joe and his regime are sending what food we have here to other third world shithole countries. That's by intent. It isn't to feed them, it's to starve you. The Biden regime has a program out there to combat the climate change crap hoax, where there are millions of acres in the U.S. owned by private farms that the farmers are not allowed to use to grow crops to help prevent climate change. These farmers are paid not to grow food, and the Biden regime is currently offering them more money to not grow food. They are actively in the process of trying to get 2 million plus more acres taken off the map for food growing in this country. Tell me how that is something that helps the people eat. So what we have is no land being allowed to be used to farm. Now you know why Bill Depopulation Gates is the largest American landowner. He didn't buy that land to plant crops. He bought it so no one could plant crops. Okay, so we have farmers not being allowed to grow food on their own land. Bill Gates buying millions of acres. China buying lots of land to grow food for their country, not yours. The regime intentionally decimating the supply chain to increase the food shortages. Now we have all the fake recalls that the regime does. Then when the companies get their food back or they take it out of the stores, the elites take it and put it in their bunkers. It's being held for continuity of government. Iowa just had their entire chicken population decimated. It doesn't matter if you have one chicken test positive for the flu bug that's going around. Okay? We already know what they've done to beef. There's no feed because there's no wheat, and the supply from last year was already gone. So you're going to see shortly all farmers are going to have to slaughter their milk cows and their beef cows. So there will be some very reasonable beef prices midsummer, early fall, and then there will be no beef or milk or cheese or dairy products to be had. It will take at least 10 years to get herds back up to the level that they're at right now. That was intentional. Pork, we all know what happened with the pigs. They did the same thing. The swine flu. Right. The swine flu was very likely introduced the same way the pandemic was, just like this bird flu is. This is to decimate the chicken crop, the egg crop. Basically, you're seeing the regime eliminate all of our best protein sources. You need to grow gardens. Don't tell me you don't have the space. If you live in a small community, town, cul-de-sac, whatever it is, and you say you have no space, everybody has a lawn big enough to put 2 or 3 raised beds that are 3 or 4 foot wide and 8 foot long. You don't need a lawn right now. You need food. Okay? So say you do have a blacktop front lawn and back lawn. We all know someone elderly that probably has a big lawn. They physically can't do the gardening thing. You can do the gardening thing. Approach this elderly person whom you probably know already and say, hey, I'd like to plant some raised bed gardens this year. As you know, food prices are soaring. And I don't have any space to do it. If you let me do some raised beds in your garden, I will gladly share all my food with you that I produce. You don't have to do a thing except let me have some space. 1. 2. Get with all your neighbors. There, in every neighborhood, there are plots of land that are just sitting there empty. Find out who owns it. Approach them. The same thing. Even if we could pay you a little bit to set up a community garden, now you have several people working with you. Somewhere down the road, there will have to be some kind of security for that. I get it, but at least you had a chance to grow something. There are window boxes, totes to be turned into small hydroponic gardens that can grow 6 heads of lettuce or broccoli or kale or strawberries in a 30 to 45 day period with no weeding, no dirt, just water and some nutrients. I will try and make that video today to show you how to do that. All you need is a front porch or a back porch. There are so many ways you can grow food. Potatoes in a 5-gallon bucket. You can buy 25 grow bags on Amazon for about $30. You fill them with a mixture of nice topsoil, some perlite or vermiculite, that's the white little fluffy stuff you see in all the plants you get. That helps hold water and create little air spaces so that your food can breathe. Those need to be watered every once in a while. Do you know how many potatoes you can get out of a 5-gallon grow bag that you can just keep harvesting and harvesting and harvesting. Everyone you know should be growing as many potatoes as they can. You can make potato bread. You can make hash browns. Potatoes are nutritious, filling, and extremely easy to grow. Zucchini and squash, you need a 4x4 square for a zucchini plant that will give you 20, 30, or more zucchini throughout the course of a season. Spaghetti squash, they need a 2x2 square for the root ball, and then they just go. The rest of the vine might be 15 foot long. You'll get 20 spaghetti squash off that. You can save the seeds from all of those for future planting. Grow foods that you like. Grow foods that you'll be able to barter and trade and share. Pole beans, plant them in your flower garden by a piece of lattice. They grow upwards. They take no space. They're virtually maintenance free. They want water. Bush beans take up very little space. There is so much you can do. This regime is clearly doing everything they possibly can to make our food shortages intentionally worse. If you don't think their objective is to starve you into submission, I can't help you. Buy some canned goods, some flour, salt, sugar, 50-pound bags of rice, hard wheat berries, soft wheat berries, a hand grinder. Start stocking. Your spare bedroom should be filled to the rafters. Buy foods you like and foods that will last 3 to 5 years. All canned goods last 2 to 3 years longer than the best buy date on them. Don't fall for that crap. Oh, my God, folks. I just, what is it going to take? For some of you, nothing. You're living in the COVIDian cultist, oblivion, mass formation psychosis, libtard mindset, and there's nothing to do for you. Buy some long-term food storage. Yes, I bring it up every time I have a sponsor. www.storagechef.com. Coupon code SFP15 for your discount. You need to catch up. You need a year minimum supply worth of food. Buy it wherever the heck you want. Just buy it. But research my company. You're going to find the prices and the payment plans are the best. The lowest. Check it out. That's all I ask. StorageChef.com, SFP15. Get at it. Time to plant is within the next week or two for almost everything. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and notification bell. But for now, JT, signing off.